In the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. Buddha. Welcome to the Noble Wisdom Path, where we uncover the sacred truths of your journey through Buddhist wisdom. A solitary journey sparks silent reflections, born from the depths of your soul, whispering truths that stir the heart. Why does love remain distant? Why does union escape your grasp? Why, after all these years, has marriage never arrived? When life continues without a partner beside you, when seasons pass and no vow is taken, the mind begins to whisper, "Did something go wrong? Am I somehow incomplete?" Society has taught us that to be whole means to be paired, that success includes a ring, a shared name, a lifetime promise to another. But what if this teaching is fundamentally flawed? What if your unmarried status isn't a waiting room for some future completion, but a sacred path with its own profound purpose? Today we explore a perspective that might transform how you see your solitary journey, not through the lens of lack, but through the wisdom of karma and the profound teachings of Buddhist philosophy. In Zen and Buddhist philosophy, marriage is not viewed as a compulsory right or achievement. Union is not proof of worthiness, nor is solitude a punishment. The Buddha taught, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. This teaching reminds us that completeness comes from within, not from external validation or relationships. Karma, often misunderstood in Western culture, does not work like a mirror reflecting your worth. It works like a compass, guiding you toward the experiences your soul needs for growth and awakening. The ancient teachings remind us, you are not punished for your karma, you are punished by your karma. This distinction is profound. Karma is not a judge labeling you as blessed or forsaken. It simply aligns your path with the lessons not yet mastered, the growth not yet achieved. In the next few minutes, I'll share insights that might completely transform how you view your unmarried status. We'll explore the karmic significance of solitude, the spiritual gifts it offers, and how to embrace this path with intention and peace. Let me share a story that illuminates this path. One life, one soul, one silent journey through the landscape of karmic solitude. The question behind the question. Michael had walked many paths in his life, crossed many glances, shared laughter, sat beside firelight, watched stars scatter over oceans of stillness. But no hand stayed in his, no promise shared his breath. Many tried, some came close, but something unseen always stepped between. The closeness turned cold, the warmth turned to wind, and again he stood alone, not in bitterness, but with a strange calm, like a river accepting the stones it flows around. He once thought love would find him. Then he thought perhaps he must chase it. Then, much later, he stopped thinking altogether. Instead, he began listening, not with ears, but with inner clarity. One night, while seated beneath a tree, he closed his eyes and asked the silence, why? The Roman philosopher Seneca once wrote, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." Michael realized he had been living in expectancy, waiting for a future that might never arrive, while missing the present moment that was always available. This is what Zen masters call seeking your original face, the true nature that exists beneath all societal expectations and conditioned desires. Your original face isn't defined by relationship status. It's the essential you that remains when all labels are removed. Take a moment now. Close your eyes if you're in a safe place to do so. Ask yourself, what is the question behind my question about being unmarried? Is it really about marriage, or is it about belonging, about worth, about purpose? Often, when we dig beneath our surface questions, we find deeper yearnings that no relationship status could ever satisfy. Karmic patterns across lifetimes. Every soul carries threads from former lives, attachments, wounds, promises unfulfilled, duties left hanging like mist between two dawns. Marriage, in this context, is not a rite, but a karmic opening, a contract between souls that must be honored again. For some, marriage never comes in this life, not because love is denied, but because karmic bindings were already completed long ago. What remained was the inner contract with oneself. Research from the field of attachment theory suggests that our relationship patterns are formed early in life and often repeat throughout adulthood. But Buddhist wisdom takes this understanding deeper, suggesting these patterns may extend beyond this lifetime. Many lives ago, Michael had walked the path of marriage multiple times. In some lives, he clung too tightly. In others, he abandoned too swiftly. And in one particular life, his partner had waited for him for years, only for him to never return. That thread, left unresolved, created sorrow that rippled through lifetimes. So in this life, karma weaved a quiet path, not to punish, but to protect, to balance what once was torn, to let the soul remember what it means to be whole without needing another. I once knew a woman named Sarah who had similar realizations. In a quiet temple in Kyoto, Sarah sat before a lotus pond, where visions of her past life as a nun unfolded like petals in the dawn. The ancient wooden floors beneath her meditation cushion had been polished by centuries of seekers before her. As incense spiraled toward the temple ceiling, Sarah witnessed herself in monastic robes, breaking sacred vows for a passionate affair that ended in heartbreak and shame. Throughout her youth and middle age in this life, relationships would begin promisingly, but inevitably dissolve before marriage. After years of therapy and spiritual seeking, this profound meditation revealed the pattern's origin. The temple keeper later told her that many Western women experienced similar visions in that exact spot, a convergence point where past and present merged. In this life, her soul was learning to honor commitments to herself first, to complete the lesson of self-fidelity that had been left unfinished. Her unmarried status wasn't a failure, it was a soul-level completion of unfinished business. The Dhammapada teaches, by oneself is evil done, by oneself is one defiled, by oneself is evil left undone, by oneself is one made pure. Purity and impurity depend on oneself. No one can purify another. This teaching reminds us that our karmic work is deeply personal. No relationship. The sacred solitude. In Zen, solitude is not loneliness. It is the original home. The Master Dogen once said, "When you are alone and do not feel lonely, you have entered into the realm of truth." Michael began to live this. No more questions about who would share his meals or who would greet him at the end of the day. He became the one who greeted himself every evening. He lit a candle not for someone to come, but to honor the one who already stayed, his own soul. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches, solitude is not about being alone, it is about being with yourself. This profound shift in perspective transforms isolation into communion with your deepest nature. The existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre suggested that authentic existence requires facing our fundamental aloneness. Only by accepting this aloneness can we form genuine connections with others. Connections based on choice, rather than need or fear. I remember a period in my own life when I retreated to a small cabin in the mountains for 3 months. Initially, the silence was deafening. I found myself constantly reaching for distractions. Books, music, anything to fill the void. But gradually, something shifted. The silence became a presence, rather than an absence. I began to hear the subtle voices of wind through pine needles, the conversation of birds at dawn, the quiet breathing of the earth beneath my feet. More importantly, I began to hear myself, Not the chattering mind that had always dominated, but a deeper current of awareness that had always been there, waiting to be recognized. When I returned to society, people commented that something about me had changed. I carried a center of gravity that hadn't been there before, a relationship with myself that no external circumstance could disturb. Michael discovered that marriage is not the only path of intimacy. One can become deeply intimate with life, with silence, with service, with beauty. He would walk beside rivers and feel the water speak to him. He would see the moon and feel it kiss his forehead. He would observe children playing and feel as if the whole world was his family. People often asked him, "Why did you never marry?" He smiled softly and said, "My heart is bound to the rhythm of each mindful moment." Universal love versus personal attachment. Karma, like a quiet caretaker, tended to Michael's soul, cultivating a garden of inner peace. Those who marry walk one path. Those who remain unmarried walk another. Both paths bloom if walked consciously. For him, not marrying meant he could go wherever the wind called. He was not rooted in routines. His mind was free from worries of obligation. His mornings were spent in meditation, his days in contemplation, his nights in peace. And yet, he gave more love than many who married. He served the sick, taught the young, fed the hungry, listened to the brokenhearted. His life was not small. It expanded far and wide. Research from the University of California found that single people are more likely to maintain strong social networks and provide care to parents and neighbors than their married counterparts. They often develop deeper friendships and contribute more extensively to their communities. Sometimes karma creates solitary souls so they can shine their light outward without distraction. They are not without love, they are overflowing with it, but in a form that does not bind, only liberates. The American Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron speaks of groundlessness, the state of having no fixed reference point, as the foundation for true compassion. When we're not anchored to one person or identity, we can respond more freely to the needs around us. In the Metta Sutta, the Buddha teaches practitioners to extend loving kindness to all beings. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings. This universal love, unbounded by the limitations of personal attachment, is what many unmarried individuals naturally cultivate. Their hearts, not confined to a nuclear family, expand to embrace a wider circle of beings. Michael found that his capacity for compassion grew precisely because it wasn't channeled into one primary relationship. Like water, not contained in a single vessel, his love flowed freely to whoever needed it in each moment. This doesn't mean married love is lesser. It simply serves a different purpose in the ecosystem of human connection. Some are called to the depth of committed partnership, others to the breadth of universal compassion. Neither path is higher or lower. They are simply different expressions of the same fundamental capacity for love. Navigating challenges on the solitary path. Temptation came to Michael too. A woman once looked at him with eyes like dawn. She loved him with a love that could set forests on fire. She longed to walk with him, and for a while he considered it. But when he looked into his heart, he saw not passion, but peace, and peace whispered, "You are not meant to hold a hand. You are meant to hold the world in your quiet gaze." He gently let her go. She cried. He stayed silent. And when she left, the wind carried her tears away. That night, he wept, not because he lost her, but because he honored truth. To walk alone, yet not feel empty. That is the mark of spiritual maturity, the rebirth of inner union. The challenges of the unmarried path are real. Loneliness visits. Doubt creeps in during quiet evenings. Society's questioning glances can sting. The human longing for touch and connection doesn't disappear with spiritual insight. When loneliness arises, Buddhist practice offers a powerful approach. Turn toward it rather than away. The 13th century Zen master Dogen instructed, to study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. Try this practice when loneliness appears. Sit quietly and place your hand on your heart. Breathe deeply and say to yourself, "Loneliness, I see you. I make space for you. You are welcome here." Then visualize this feeling as a small child needing comfort rather than an enemy to be banished. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught a complementary approach. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. We cannot control whether a life partner appears, but we can control how we respond to our circumstances. Each morning, practice this Stoic exercise. Ask yourself, what aspects of my day are within my control and what aspects are not? Then focus your energy entirely on what you can influence, while practicing acceptance of what you cannot. These practices transform the unmarried path from one of passive waiting or resignation to active spiritual cultivation. The challenges become not obstacles, but opportunities for deeper awakening. The higher purpose of your unmarried path. As years passed, Michael became more luminous. He had married no one, but he had united with everything. Zen masters say when the self disappears, the whole universe becomes your beloved. He sat in forests, he sat in storms, he sat in joy, he sat in pain, and through every sitting, he grew deeper. Eventually, he no longer thought of karma. He became karma itself, action without clinging, love without chain, life without hesitation. He was proof that those who walk alone are not alone. They are accompanied by the sky, by silence, by spirit. The Dhammapada teaches, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. So too, better than 1,000 fleeting romances is one life rooted in sacred understanding. Gratitude transforms solitude into a gift. Each morning, Michael wrote 3 things he was thankful for: his freedom, his breath, the sunrise. This practice, rooted in Buddhist teachings on appreciative joy, mudita, revealed that his unmarried path was not a void, but a canvas for boundless appreciation. The 14th Dalai Lama teaches that the root of happiness is altruistic love and compassion. And Michael found that his daily gratitude practice naturally expanded his capacity for both. Without the distractions of romantic attachment, he could fully appreciate the subtle gifts each moment offered, the changing seasons, the kindness of strangers, the simple pleasure of a mindful meal. His journal became a testament to abundance rather than lack. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist who studied Eastern philosophies, developed the concept of individuation, the process of becoming one's true self. He observed that this often requires periods of solitude and introspection that allow the individual to differentiate from collective expectations and discover their unique purpose. Your unmarried path may be serving a higher purpose that isn't immediately visible. Perhaps you are completing karmic patterns from past lives. Perhaps you are developing spiritual gifts that require focused energy. Perhaps you are preparing for service that demands unusual freedom. Perhaps you are healing ancestral wounds that would otherwise be passed on. A Heart Sutra, one of Buddhism's most profound texts, declares, "Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form." This teaching points to the ultimate non-separation between all things. In the highest understanding, you are never truly alone because the boundary between self and other is revealed to be an illusion. Your unmarried status doesn't separate you from love. It may be preparing you for a more expansive experience of love that transcends conventional boundaries. Living your path with intention. To the one who wonders, why didn't I marry? Karma does not answer in words, it answers in awakenings. Some are not meant to build a home with walls. They are meant to build sanctuaries of awareness. Some are not meant to say I do, they are meant to say I am. If marriage never came to you, do not think you missed life. Perhaps you were being guarded for a higher purpose. Perhaps you were destined to touch many lives instead of holding just one. Here are practical ways to embrace your unmarried path with intention. 1. Create a self-commitment ritual. Just as marriage represents a commitment between two people, create a beautiful ritual that honors your commitment to your own growth and purpose. Light candles, speak vows to yourself. Wear a symbol that reminds you of this sacred commitment. 2. Cultivate soul friendships. Deep, profound, non-romantic connections can provide the intimacy and support that humans naturally crave. Invest in friendships that nourish your spirit and create family-like bonds that transcend biological or marital ties. 3. Discover your Dharma. In Buddhist teaching, Dharma refers to your unique purpose or contribution. Spend time in meditation asking, how can my particular form of freedom best serve the world? Then take small steps toward that purpose daily. Create meaningful traditions. Don't wait for partnership to establish beautiful rhythms in your life. Create personal rituals for seasons, achievements, and transitions that give your life texture and meaning. Practice radical presence. The greatest gift of the unmarried path is the opportunity for undivided presence. Train yourself to be fully where you are with whoever is before you, without the divided attention that often comes with primary partnership. ... Period. I once met an elderly woman named Eleanor who had never married. In her small apartment, she had a special chair she called her wisdom seat. Eleanor adorned her wisdom seat with a silk scarf from her travels in India, a reminder of her vow to honor her inner journey. Beside it stood a small altar with stones collected from sacred sites around the world. A piece of marble from the Acropolis, a smooth river rock from the Ganges, volcanic glass from Hawaii. Each morning before sunrise, she would light a special candle made of beeswax from her brother's farm, symbolizing the connection between her solitary path and her family roots. Each morning and evening, she would sit there for 20 minutes, placing her hands on her heart, and have a conversation with her deeper self. The ritual never varied. She would begin by sounding a small Tibetan singing bowl 3 times, then recite a vow she had written in her 30s after a profound dream about her life purpose. This practice, she told me, has been my marriage. Every day, I show up, I listen, I commit again. Some days are hard, some are beautiful, but I never abandon this relationship with myself. At her 80th birthday celebration, surrounded by hundreds of people whose lives she had touched, it was clear that her unmarried path had not been a lesser life. It had been an extraordinary one. As the teachings say, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Your unmarried status is not a statement about your worth, your lovability, or your completeness. It is simply one expression of karma, the complex interplay of countless causes and conditions that have shaped your unique journey. The Buddha taught that attachment to any fixed identity or outcome leads to suffering. When we release our grip on how we think life should unfold, we discover the freedom to embrace life as it actually is, and that embrace itself becomes a form of love. From the Heart Sutra comes this profound teaching: Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhi, svaha. Gone, gone, gone beyond. Gone completely beyond, awakened, so be it. This mantra points to the journey beyond all concepts, including our concepts about what makes a life complete or successful. Your unmarried path is not a waiting room for real life to begin. It is not a lesser path or a failure to achieve. It is simply your path, unique, purposeful, and sacred in its own right. You were never abandoned by fate. You were chosen by silence. And in that silence, if you listen closely, you might hear the universe whispering, "You are exactly where you need to be. becoming exactly who you are meant to become. If the wisdom in this video has resonated with you, I invite you to join our community at the Noble Wisdom Path, where we explore Buddhist teachings, karma, mindfulness, and the art of finding peace in your unique life journey. Subscribe to our channel for weekly insights that will support you on your path, whether you're single, in a relationship, or anywhere in between. Hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos, and consider sharing this message with someone who might need to hear it. In the comments below, I'd love to hear your reflections. Has this perspective on the unmarried path offered you a new way of seeing your journey? What insights resonated most deeply with you? Remember, the most profound teachings don't just change how we think. They transform how we live. May you walk your path, whatever its shape, with awareness, compassion, and deep peace. Until next time, may you embrace the sacred karma of your unique journey.